A Delta Airlines captain shocked the passengers when he refused to fly a Boeing 757 that had already been cleared by maintenance. Flight 466 from Atlanta to Las Vegas was supposed to be routine, but the captain looked at the jet and refused to fly it. After 9 hours of inspection, no mechanical faults were found, and everything was signed off, yet the man in command still rejected it. Why would a veteran pilot walk away from a jet that experts had declared safe? What did he know that others didn't? The incident on August 16th, Delta Airlines Flight 466 was scheduled to operate from Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport to Las Vegas. Harry Reid International, using a Boeing 757-200. Everything seemed ready. The jet had arrived earlier that day from Miami International Airport. Maintenance crews had already put it through extensive checks, and the flight plan was set. But the evening didn't go as planned. The captain assigned to the flight refused the aircraft outright. He cited concerns that could not be supported by maintenance findings. It wasn't turbulence, it wasn't weather, and it wasn't an unruly passenger. It was a judgment call on the aircraft itself. Despite 9 hours of post-flight inspection by Delta Tech Ops, no mechanical problem had been discovered. All systems appeared normal, yet the captain declined to sign for the jet. The reported issue focused on the elevator surfaces, which are the movable parts on the tail that control pitch, meaning the jet's ability to climb or descend. If elevators are not functioning properly, pilots can lose critical control of the aircraft. That's why even the suspicion of a fault raised alarms. The captain had previously flown this same 757 and believed something about the elevators did not feel right. Nothing in the maintenance reports confirmed it, but his instincts told him otherwise. When the captain informed passengers, he explained that he trusted maintenance but could not ignore the possibility of a hidden problem. His first officer backed the decision. He reinforced that no matter what inspections revealed, the final responsibility belonged to the flight crew. Both men made it clear this was not common practice. The captain said it had been 22 years since he last rejected an airplane. The first officer added that his last refusal was 7 years ago. For context, Delta operates thousands of flights each week, and most pilots go decades without ever turning down an aircraft. FlightAware tracking data later showed that the flight was delayed just over an hour. A replacement Boeing 757-200 was provided, and the aircraft departed safely to Las Vegas, arriving 1 hour and 3 minutes late. For passengers, it was an inconvenience, no doubt, but for aviation insiders, it was a rare but significant example of a captain exercising ultimate authority. Meanwhile, the rejected jet didn't simply sit idle. Maintenance returned to work. They combed through systems once more. After nearly 9 hours of inspection following its Miami-Atlanta leg, no fault had been identified. Yet engineers knew that subtle anomalies sometimes escape detection. Control surface issues, particularly with elevators, can be difficult to replicate on the ground. They may appear only under specific aerodynamic conditions, like at certain speeds or angles in flight. This technical gap explains why a captain's perception of handling characteristics can outweigh even the most detailed engineering reports. This decision aligned with long-standing safety culture in aviation. When in doubt, err on the side of caution. The disruption may have cost Delta money and scheduling headaches, but it demonstrated the balance between operational efficiency and absolute safety. And in this case, the pilots made sure that the balance tipped firmly toward safety. The power of the pilot. In commercial aviation, no one holds more authority during a flight than the captain. Once a pilot signs for an aircraft, they assume legal and operational responsibility for both the jet and the passengers on board. In the United States, this authority is codified in Code of Federal Regulations 91.3, which states, "The pilot in command of an aircraft is directly responsible for and is the final authority as to the operation of that aircraft." That means no manager, no dispatcher, and no executive can override the decision. If a captain declares an aircraft unsafe, the flight stops. Flight 466 showed exactly how this works in practice. Pilots are trained to reject an aircraft for a wide range of reasons. First of all, there are mechanical issues from engine warnings to flight control concerns. Then it could be the weather. Say there is a storm, turbulence forecast, or poor visibility. Then they can refuse to fly it. Crew fitness could also be a reason. For example, fatigue or health problems can justify refusal. Then there are external threats like unruly passengers, security risks, or ground hazards. In this case, the suspected elevator issue fell into the most serious category. A mechanical problem with pitch control could lead to loss of the aircraft. Several historical accidents underscore this danger. In 1979, American Airlines Flight 191 crashed after takeoff in Chicago due to a failure linked to the engine pylon structure affecting flight controls, killing all 271 on board. In 2000, Alaska Airlines Flight 261, an MD-83 lost all pitch control due to a jack screw failure in the horizontal stabilizer, resulting in 88 fatalities. These tragedies remain reminders that tailplane control problems are among the most unforgiving in aviation. The fact that Delta's maintenance team spent 9 hours investigating the 757 shows us how seriously the suspicion was taken. But here lies the challenge. Many aircraft systems are highly redundant and only fail under rare combinations of stress, altitude, and load. A pilot may sense stiffness, delay, or feedback in the yoke that diagnostics cannot replicate on the ground. When such intuition arises, the pilot in command has both the right and the duty to act. Captain Jason Ambrosi, president of the Airline Pilots Association, defended the decision. He called pilots the final arbiter of safety. His statement emphasized that highly trained professionals bring not only technical expertise, but also judgment to every flight. Their responsibility is not to meet the schedule. It is to identify contingencies and protect passengers. Statistics show why this authority matters. Commercial aviation is the safest mode of transport, with accident rates falling steadily over the past 4 decades. According to AIDA, in 2023, the all-accident rate was just 1.4 per million flights. This success comes from layers of safety, including design, maintenance, regulation, and human judgment. Remove one layer, and the system weakens. Consider parallels from aviation history. In 1989, after the catastrophic engine failure of United Airlines Flight 232 and the destruction of hydraulic systems, the crew improvised using engine thrust to steer. Their intuition saved 185 lives, even though 111 perished. Then there is the 2009 incident of U.S. Airways Flight 1549. Captain Sully Sullenberger ditched his Airbus A320 in the Hudson River after bird strikes disabled both engines. He ignored ATC instructions to attempt a runway landing because he knew they would not make it. His judgment saved 155 lives. Then there were the 2018 to 2009 Boeing 737 MAX crises. Pilots had long reported unexpected nose-down inputs linked to MCAS software, concerns that were initially dismissed. When 2 jets tragically crashed, killing 346 people, those early warnings proved justified. These examples highlight why a gut feeling from an experienced pilot is not dismissed as superstition. It is often rooted in years of subtle observations that no manual can teach. From an airline perspective, refusals are costly. A grounded jet disrupts schedules, strains maintenance, and affects hundreds of connections. A single delay can ripple across the network, but financial impact cannot outweigh safety. That is why regulations shield pilots from retaliation when they decline to operate an aircraft. Their decision is final and legally binding. Delta's 757 fleet itself is worth noting. Once the backbone of its domestic and transcontinental network, the Boeing 757-200 is now aging, with many airframes over 25 years old. Though robust and still in service, older jets demand more maintenance and monitoring. Pilots flying these aircraft often develop strong familiarity with their handling, making them more likely to notice subtle deviations from normal performance. In Flight 466's case, the captain's refusal didn't just ground one airplane. It sent a message. It showed passengers that their safety outweighs punctuality. It showed maintenance teams that pilot observations can highlight gaps in technical diagnostics. And it showed the industry that safety culture is alive. Even when nothing shows on the instruments, human judgment has the final word. That's the power of the pilot in command. And that's why this incident, though resolved with a simple 1-hour delay, has drawn so much attention in aviation circles. Because sometimes the decision to step back from a cleared aircraft is the very thing that keeps the safety record intact. What does this mean for aviation? So if one captain's refusal could delay an entire flight and trigger hours of inspections, what does that really tell us about aviation as a whole? It proves that this industry, unlike almost any other, is built on a system where hesitation is sometimes more valuable than speed. Aviation is obsessed with control, with layers of safety, with redundancy. But at the end of the day, one decision can still change everything. That's the beauty and the weight of modern air travel. When you step onto a plane, you are stepping into the results of decades of safety protocols, regulations, engineering, and training. The industry doesn't survive by cutting corners. It survives by making safety the top priority, even if it means planes leave late, passengers miss connections, or airlines lose money in the short term. That's why you see pilots being given so much legal power. They are the final stop in a system that doesn't compromise. One thing this incident showed is how aviation relies on layers, but also how it adapts. Pilots, engineers, regulators, unions, and even passengers all play a role in shaping how safe the skies really are. For passengers, this case highlighted something they might never have thought about. The aircraft they board is not just a machine signed off by mechanics. It's a decision signed by a captain who holds full legal responsibility. Every boarding pass, every seat filled, represents a trust contract between passengers and the person sitting at the controls. This single delay also says a lot about how airlines handle reputation. For Delta, Letting the captain call the shots was the safest and also the smartest business move. A crash would destroy years of branding and customer loyalty. A delay costs a few $1,000s, but passengers seeing firsthand that a pilot can ground a jet if it feels off builds confidence, and confidence keeps people booking tickets. There is also a message here about how old fleets shape new risks. The Boeing 757 has been a workhorse for decades, but many of Delta's airframes are pushing 25 or even 30 years old. Even with strict maintenance cycles and part replacements, older jets bring with them challenges that cannot always be solved in a hangar. Control surface issues, pressurization quirks, or vibrations in flight often don't show up during ground tests. That's why this refusal wasn't just about one captain being careful, it was about how airlines must constantly weigh the costs of keeping older aircraft against the risks of introducing newer ones. Replacing entire fleets is not immediate, and until then, intuition becomes part of the safety net. At the same time, this moment showed just how much training has changed aviation. Decades ago, co-pilots might have felt pressured to go along silently, even if they had doubts. Today, crew resource management ensures that every voice in the cockpit is heard. The fact that the first officer immediately backed the captain is proof that the system is working the way it's meant to. When both agree that risk exists, that's instinct and consensus. And instinct and consensus in the cockpit are the most powerful defenses aviation has ever created. From a regulatory angle, the refusal is also a reminder that pilot authority is not just tradition, it is enshrined in law. The Code of Federal Regulations doesn't leave space for debate. It makes clear that once a captain says no, the discussion is over. That law was written after decades of painful lessons, where crews were rushed, pressured, or ignored, leading to disasters. And it still matters today. In fact, incidents like this show that those regulations are actively protecting passengers every single day. The bigger picture, though, is about how these moments shape aviation's future. Right now, airlines and manufacturers are investing billions into automation and predictive maintenance. Computers track engine performance, sensors log every movement of the control surfaces, and artificial intelligence is beginning to forecast failures before they happen. But no amount of software can replace the human factor. Pilots can feel, hear, or sense things that technology still cannot measure. And this is where aviation has to strike a balance, trusting data while never silencing the people who have thousands of hours in the cockpit. It also raises the question of how aviation handles communication with the public. Most passengers don't know what an elevator surface is or why a control issue could be catastrophic. All they see is a delay. The drama happens behind the cockpit door, invisible to the average traveler. But when news like this breaks, it educates the public about how safety culture really works. It shows them that even if they can't see the system in action, the system is working for them every time they fly. For regulators and unions, this case provides a perfect example to highlight why pilot independence must never be compromised. Airlines operate in competitive markets where cost and time pressures are constant. The temptation to push flights forward, even when doubts linger, will always exist. But when incidents like Flight 466 are made public, they remind everyone that protecting lives isn't negotiable. It reinforces a culture where pilots know they won't be punished for putting safety before schedules. The significance also extends internationally. Different regions of the world treat pilot authority differently. In some markets, commercial pressure weighs heavily on flight crews. That's why US and European regulations are often seen as global benchmarks. A case like this sets a standard. It shows what's possible when pilots have the full support of their airline and their regulator to stop a flight if something doesn't feel right. At the heart of it all, this is about aviation's constant fight to improve. Every incident, whether it's a refusal, a diversion, or even just a delay, feeds into the database of lessons learned. That data shapes future training, informs new regulations, and even influences aircraft design. The fact that a Boeing 757 was grounded for suspicion of elevator problems may lead to improved monitoring systems, better diagnostic tools, or fresh training modules for pilots flying aging fleets. Nothing in aviation is wasted, not even a delay. Now tell us, do you think it was right for the captain to refuse to fly the plane just based on his gut feeling? Share your opinions with us in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the latest aviation updates. We will keep you in the loop. Goodbye for now.